What's up, everybody? This is Inside the Ring. We are your hosts, Mike and Ray. Ray, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good,
And this is the theme song for SummerSlam.
Yes, sir. It's not that great, but we got to play it.
Actually, Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
Never sounded. I don't think he's going to make an appearance at SummerSlam. What do you think?
I don't think so.
Oh, man. Broken collarbone?
If he does, he's got to be on flat surfaces.
So, Ray, we had this contest.
Yes, sir.
And the contest was to co-host with us.
Yes, sir.
And what we did was we wanted you to sign up at YouTube, be a subscriber, and then send in an email telling us what you want to talk about on the show.
Right.
And we'll pick some winners out.
Right.
And we picked the winner out.
Yes, sir.
And this has to do with something about the Hall of Fame situation leading up to next year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
WrestleMania Eve.
Yes, sir.
And today's winner, hold on, let me stop this. And today's winner
is Snowy Bop.
Snowy Bop. Let me bring him up. Snowy Bop, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, guys. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm great.
Now,
thanks for bringing me on your show.
No problem. Hey, Snowy Bop, can we call you by your real name?
Yeah, sure, why not?
What's your real name?
Pete.
Pete?
Got it.
Cool. Pete, what's up?
All right, Pete.
What should we talk about, boys?
What
shall we talk about?
Well, you went ahead and you gave us an email about the situation with the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yes. The Hall you could say that. Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame, Hall of Spam. I don't know what you want to call it. I think it's just what they couldn't do with the Slammies is now what they combine of an award show of people that are hopefully alive to even collect their award. But in all fairness, I mean, Hall of Fame, they're ignoring. Why is it that the company is ignoring certain people?
Like who?
Is it I can name a few: Giant Baba, Antonio Inoki, Owen Hart, Rick Rude, Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy. Oh, let's not forget Bruno Sammartino.
Wow.
Yes. Why are these people being ignored?
Well, what do you think about people that are in the Hall of Fame right now?
I have no problem. They're in. They earn their plaques.
So you agree with Pete Rose being in there before Owen Hart?
No. The way they do about it is a bad category. Wrestlers should be in their own single category, and the extra, what I would call contributors, which should be set aside categories. No different than any other award show. Hall of Fame status is fine, but the category, I think, should be kept more categorized as intricate player, managers, and so forth.
But do you think Pete Rose should have been in there? I mean, it just kind of sounds weird.
No, because he actually put his ass on the line getting slammed twice. I have no problem with it. He's not a competitor. He's not a sports entertainer. He was just an extra add-on for a pay-per-view to generate dollars and generate heat. That's baseball's way of sticking it to him, saying, if you don't want him, we'll take him. And I have no problem with that. However, the balloting or how they pick them, somebody's evidently wearing a blindfold and just picking their names out of a fishbowl. I mean, Coco Beware, I have no problem with him. Regional titles. Good competitor, but was never really a main event status unless you're the big fish in a small pond, and I don't have to name territories. But Rick Rude, another one, longest U.S. champion to be around, multiple tag team champion, been around all over the territories. How come he's not in?
Well, hold on. Let's back up a little bit. You mentioned Coco Beware. Well, yeah, he was a mid-carder, okay? But the thing is, with Coco Beware, I think at the time, which in today's standards, you were one of the boys. Even though he wasn't in the main event status,
he's a competitor. Look, he's a competitor. He has experience. I have no problem with that. I know his resume, the regional titles he's held in other territories. I think there were more people that were more deserving. Whether you're one of the boys, okay, you're going to go one of the boys. Let's go Dynamite Kid, one of the best junior heavyweight, light heavyweight champions of the early '80s era, who headlined the Garden, who faced all kinds of competition. Why is he not in? What? Because they can't wheelchair him in? I think that's more of a lame excuse for not picking. How about the people we put videos in? Randy Savage? He should have been a long time ago overdue. But the problem is, let's piss off the boss you're a faded memory.
That's it. That's exactly. I agree.
Whether you generate tickets, you're only as good as your last show. And if you burnt a bridge, you're lucky if they open a magazine or pop in a tape about you.
And that's your sting.
Yeah. Bottom line.
But I agree with you. Randy Savage should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's done so much for the company, and he helped build. I mean, and even Hulk Hogan goes to say on record that he made the most money working with Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
And
all I got to tell you is look at the things at the house shows in the sports arena. Plain and simple. They headlined. Whether who doesn't matter. Those two of themselves can carry a show, whether it's them together, opposing, or just an individual night. I mean, you're running 3 shows across the territories. Whether one guy's an Intercontinental Champion, a World Champion, doesn't matter. Your name and your marquee sets alone. They just put a damn video out. Okay, speaking of another one, Warrior, how come he's not in? Became the first to hold the Intercontinental and World title at the same time. And back in them days, it was unheard of.
So we're talking about.
Or the old golden rule, you couldn't hold 2 titles at the same time.
Well, let's talk about that. Okay, the Ultimate Warrior, he's currently right now still trying to sue Vince right now because of that whole DVD destruction of the Ultimate Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say, when you piss off the boss, you're a
faded memory.
You're a faded memory. But there's a double standard to it because what about Bret Hart?
Okay, yeah, he spat and he punched him in the face, and it's known of record. But let's see, have you read the book?
I haven't. No,
you should. I recommend it. He holds nothing back. About great details. He deserves every which way to be in that Hall of Fame. He started out of Stampede and of Japan as a junior heavyweight. And when he got there, he wasn't treated with royalty. He was a jobber and earned every bit. I'm more pro to him than any other competitor. As far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest of all time. These boys could take a few lessons off of him. But I think when it comes to dollar and cents and common sense, you put your bullshit aside and, hey, you suck it up. With Warrior, it's just amount of dollars and cents. All I got to do is cut the right check and, I don't know, do an article on him. And next thing you know, there's a plaque waiting for him. What I feel is that there's no middle end between getting these guys in. There's no other organization that I know of that recognizes the Hall of Fame.
No, there's not. There's not.
If there was, there were a long time ago. WCW, the Canadian International Hall of Fame, from what I understand, and the Madison Square Garden Hall of Fame.
There should be one, and maybe we should start one. But you know what? Let me ask you this.
Easier said than done.
Let me ask you this. Now, what do you think about the wrestlers that are currently in the Hall of Fame that are recognized as a tag team, which they weren't recognized as their single? For example, the Von Erichs. I think it was last year that the Von Erichs, they had the whole entire family, which I don't have a problem with, but really, who sticks out the most?
Okay, they should have just said the family, or the last name. Can't really see Mike Von Erich being in the Hall of Fame because he was just a Texas-based wrestler given a 6-man title. It really didn't. By today's standards or back then, but any other federation, he would have been a jobber. You know it, I know it. Unless he would have had light heavyweight skills, which I never saw evidently. Chris Von Erich, minorly in the territories, but size does matter back then, unlike now where we have smaller guys competing. But I just think it needed to be done, and it was a Texas theme. The last year's thing I have no problem with.
The funks and all that.
It was a Texas theme WrestleMania, Astrodome. So let's cover everybody. What I have a problem with is that they didn't bring in other guys like Jose Lothario, Tully Blanchard, and a couple of other Texas people I can name off the top of my head, but it really doesn't come to me right now. Rick Steamboat was way overdue. Koga Beware, I think maybe a couple more years. I don't know. It just all depends. What they're not recognizing is older past competitors as well. I don't know. Ivan Koloff, the one to take San Martino's title, how come he's not in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
He's traveled the territories. That's another one. Whether he was a manager or a tag team competitor, he was still active up to the time, even did independent work up to his retirement. There is no excuse why he shouldn't have been in there.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it even enough to where they do celebrate the old people, the people like in the 80s and then leading up to the 90s.